everyone, welcome to Theme Park Life. My name is MJ and today I'm going to be talking you through my top 10 roller coasters in the world. So, first of all I'm going to talk a little bit about my rating system. Now, usually when I'm talking about my favourite things, be it movies or video games or whatever, I just think about what I have the most passion for. With roller coasters, I find it quite hard because there's so many and that it's a very different thing to movies. Roller coasters have a lot of similarities. There's different manufacturers, so different manufacturers like B&M have a specific feeling and all that sort of thing. And I know you could draw comparisons with movies and games and whatnot by different studios or different directors, but with roller coasters, I just wanted to come up with a way to rate them differently. So I made this roller coaster credits document. As you can see, I rate each roller coaster based on different attributes. So I've got colour scheme and theming, the train, comfort and smoothness, length, landscape and environment, and layout and elements. Now, based on how important I find each of these things, I give them a score that is different. So colour scheme and theming I personally consider really important, so I give it 10, but I don't consider it as important as something like the length, which is only out of 5, but the most important thing to me is layout and elements, so I rank that out of 20. So that gives weighting to the individual elements of the ride. I then rate them out of those scores and then give them a total out of 50, and then double the 50 just to make it easier, so there's a score out of 100, and then that gives me my final ranking. So in terms of where I've been in the world, I've been to Florida several times, I've been around Europe a little bit, I've been to like Disneyland Paris, and of course the UK, but not much further than that. So I've not done Asian parks and I've not done the majority of American parks. I've done a few outside of Florida, but it's mainly just that which is my pool. So at number 10 is Cumber, the B&M coaster at Busch Gardens. I absolutely love Cumber. I love the colour scheme. It's bright. It's got the huge inversions, including that loop and the chain pull, and it's just a great ride. It's got high intensity. It's got great scenery all around it. It's like luscious, and you sort of can't see where you're going throughout the second half of the ride. You'll see a theme throughout my top 10 roller coasters in that I love big coasters with big elements. So there's a lot of B&Ms in here, but that's my number 10. Number 9 is Montu. It's also at Busch Gardens. Montu is just an incredible ride, really intense. Front row on Montu. In fact, generally speaking, for my B&M inverts, I think for me that's the most important type of ride to sit at the front, because generally speaking the reason I sit at the front is not so much to change the intensity or anything like that. Don't really mind too much about where I sit on a roller coaster. For me it's the view. I find on B&M inverts, if you've got the rows in front of you, it's really hard to see where you're going, and personally I like seeing where I'm going and seeing everything, and that's another element that I'll talk about in some of my other roller coasters as well. But Montu, I think it's the biggest B&M invert that I've been on, and I love it for that because it allows you to do these huge inversions and huge elements. And I love how it like dips underneath the area, and I love the theming and the colour scheme of it. Great stuff. Oh my God! Brilliant. Number 9 is Manta at SeaWorld. I'm a big fan of flying roller coasters for sure, and Manta, I adore the colour scheme, I adore the trains, and I absolutely love the views on this ride. Seeing around the SeaWorld park, and then the bit at the end where it skims over the water and the jets shoot up. I just absolutely love it, and I also really like the pretzel loop. I know that the pretzel loop is a point of contention for theme park and roller coaster enthusiasts. I'm a fan. I like the intensity, I like that you nearly grey out on it. Yeah, just love it. At number 10, 9, 8, 7. Number 7. At number 7 is a new entry. It's Helix at Toverland. It is absolutely stunning. The colour scheme is incredible. I actually really like bright roller coasters. I just like bright colours in general. So the colour scheme of the ride and the train, I just think is stunning. I think the location is one of the most beautiful places in a theme park that I've ever seen. It's set in Avalon over this lake. The layout is incredible because you've got a it goes over the lake in two in two different ways. They're not necessarily the most unique elements themselves, but coming over the lake and how they sort of mirror each other. You've got an airtime hill and you've got a 0G roll. Absolutely amazing. What I love so much about this ride, I really like wing riders because you have so much space around you, so you can see everything. And on this ride, it's in a really open area, so you can see everything so well. The Helix on it is really intense, and the elements are just amazing, and it's sweeping and swooping and diving, and yeah, I love it.
I definitely grade out on that Helix.
At number 6, it's Mako at SeaWorld. I have not done many hyper roller coasters. I've done probably like 3 or something like that. I've done Big One, Mako, Silver Star. That literally might even just be it. I'm not sure if Stealth really counts as a hyper so much. Not a traditional hyper anyway. So yeah, I've done so few, but I just love it. The airtime, again, the views. SeaWorld is a stunning park, it really is, and the views that high up around the area. I just love Florida and I love America in general, and just the layout is amazing, particularly towards the end of the ride. The way it just sort of carves with the track and the banking, it's really hard to describe, but it feels like you're riding an animal sort of thing. It's really organic, and it's so high, and it's B&M, which means you just feel all the intensity and all of the power.
Yeah, that's incredible.
At number 5, it's Expedition Everest at Disney's Animal Kingdom. I love a highly themed ride, love a highly themed roller coaster, and this is probably one of the highest themed rides on the list actually. You go up into the mountain, well, first of all, it's really long. I love a long ride. I don't dislike short rides, but when you're queuing, when you can potentially be queuing for so long, I love it when you get to enjoy the experience for longer. So it's really long, it's got multiple chain pulls, it's got unique elements like going right up into the mountain and then coming back. You've got the Yeti animatronic, you've got intense elements where you can't see where you're going, and that awesome drop out of the mountains, and it just looks incredible, and of course it's in a Disney park, which just feels so magical. So it's a really special ride. And number 4, it's a UK coaster. In fact, is it the only UK coaster on the list? I think it is. Nemesis at Alton Towers. I wouldn't necessarily have always thought about this being so high up, but like I say, with this specific list of mine, I choose to rank them in different elements, and this is simply where Nemesis comes out. The theming is incredible. Of course, the backstory of actually how they made the ride is really interesting. Alton Towers have got a ceiling that they can't build above. Not physical ceiling, but metaphorical ceiling, where they can't build above tree height basically. So they have to think of new and different and unique ways of having big rides. So one of those ways was quarrying, building away a massive chunk of land, and then sticking the roller coaster in it, and that created Nemesis. The blood water, amazing. The station being this evil Nemesis nightmare creature is so unique around the ride, and the colour scheme of that is sort of haunting and creepy and weird and awesome. And then the ride is just so intense, and the way it's just it's incredibly disorientating. You know, even if you sit at the front, you can't see where the hell you're going. And whilst seeing where I'm going is something that I really appreciate on rides, Nemesis is incredibly unique and amazing. So yeah, we did Nemesis, bloody loved it. Nemesis front row. At number 3, it's another new entry actually. Taron at Fantasia Land. Yeah, it is at Fantasia Land. So I was like, is it? No, it is. Of course it is. This one's by Intamin, a multi-launch roller coaster. Klugheim is probably the best themed area I've ever experienced, or the best themed anything I've ever experienced. The rock work that literally surrounds you wherever you stand in Klugheim just makes you feel ridiculously immersed. And this ride, with its carving, it feels like you're carving through different elements, and the awesome launch up into the, I don't know what you'd call it, like sideway upwards bank, and then how you reach like the top of the whole overarching landscape, and then you weave down. and just the amount of times that it crosses over with itself. It's a very special and incredible ride.
That was incredible.
At number 2 is Helix at Leesburg. The soundtrack is amazing, the station is amazing, the colour scheme is good, but I really love the train with the neon green lights on. Green's my favourite colour, so at night that thing just looks incredible. And it's the layout and the location. Leesburg is a stunning park in the middle of a city, but then you've got Helix on basically the side of a hill, so there's loads of vegetation, but then you can see the city. So it's a great mix and a great blend. And like I say, the layout is just exceptional. There's no boring chain pulls. You're straight out of the station into a drop, and then inversions, and then different kinds of inversions, different launches. It is a very varied ride that is stunning.
Helix.
And my number 1 roller coaster in the world is the Incredible Hulk at Islands of Adventure. Like I say, I love B&Ms, I love seeing where I'm going, and I love big inversions. And there's another thing that I love that I haven't mentioned yet, and that is comic books. I am a big nerd. I'm actually wearing an Avengers t-shirt right now, and I already mentioned green is my favourite colour. Purple is another one of my favourite colours. I adore Marvel. So this roller coaster weaves everything that I love and puts it into one big mix. It's one of the very few B&M launches as well. I certainly think the only B&M like inclined launch, and just the start of that ride, launching upwards into a 0G roll and then down into a giant cobra roll and a giant loop over the lake. Hell, another thing I didn't even mention is that I love Fall Out Boy. And Patrick Stump did the theme song, or the on-ride audio song for Incredible Hulk. It's just incredible. Those elements are really intense. Again, I love huge and tall inversions, and the station, and being so immersed in the Marvel world, all the little Marvel Easter eggs in the queue, and then the colour scheme for the ride is like my favourite colour scheme, and it's all just absolutely incredible. I just love the ride so much. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. If you're new to Theme Park Life, I would really appreciate if you subscribed. I'm going to have plenty more videos coming soon of all different kinds. Let me know in the comments below what your favourite roller coasters are. And if you happen to like the idea about my spreadsheet, I'd be more than happy to give you a blank copy of it, so you can do it for yourself. Thank you again for watching. There's a plane. We'll see you next time.